How are you, sir?
Good, Mr. Mayor. How are you?
But they keep building more and more facilities.
Yeah, they do.
I live by Franklin, and every other year they get new terms and all that. You're just like, really? Seriously, you know?
They tear the old one off.
Yeah, and then every other year, and then they claim that the parents raise that money, the PTA or whatever. It's like, well, that's a lot of money. And then for a while, they were closing the track, you know, like people would go walk in the evening, ooh, the neighborhood went crazy. They had to nope.
Yeah, tax dollars,
Mhm.
yeah, funding on that.
My daughter was actually looking forward to getting a softball field there at El Dorado.
Oh, yeah,
Is that
that's
happening?
not happening, yeah.
But the coach looked a little worried. 'Cause I mean, I guess the teachers are concerned about where the cuts are.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And then a lot of the blames is being placed supposedly on the teachers because of their pay raises.
Yeah.
But they say no, right? It's up for examinations.
Yeah.
It was from what I heard, it was a lot of their projects that they just all went
Over,
over budget.
over budget, oh.
From the last bond. So, but I don't work there. I don't know what. I know nothing.
It's like somebody else worry about that, right?
Yeah.
Gee, worried about that.
I'm worried about what happens in our backyard, and it's tough.
Are you Clint?
No, we're Socorro. Yeah, we're Socorro. So I'm like 5 minutes out over here. Oh, okay. So yeah, my kids are in the Eastland feeder pad. So it's yeah, this whole side over here.
On this whole side, so
over here.
Horizon? On this
Mhm.
side?
Like going down Rodman.
Yeah.
So Rodman, that whole section is. There's a street there that cuts Clint, but it's split in half. Who was I talking to about that? They didn't know that the districts were, that they were split. That Horizon was split.
Well, there's 9 different school districts. That's even just that. When you think about, could you save money by collapsing them, you know?
Mhm.
All the administrative costs. and all that.
Unified.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Like California, right?
Uh-huh.
I mean, Socorro's what, 48,000 students?
In some states, the cities run the schools. Can you imagine if you had to run the schools too?
Oh, no.
I know, imagine.
75%.
You have to have
Wow.
your own teacher for that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Making the phone calls.
I get a couple phone calls here and there. Couple.
It's usually about you cutting them.
It's usually public service related.
Yeah.
Thanks for reminding them, Sylvia.
Think about when they call you, who do they call it about?
Yeah, I couldn't be a teacher. I don't have the patience for it. Those teachers get in my opinion, they should get a direct through the pearly gates. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
no stopping, no just.
Direct saints.
You're in their sainthood, and I couldn't do it. That's a tough gig. My wife's a teacher, so sometimes I'll pick her up from work, and I don't say a word until she talks first.
Yeah, see what kind of day she has.
Yeah, how we're feeling today, and you know. So yeah, I know better. I've learned over the years.
What grade does she teach?
First grade.
Oh, they're cute.
Yeah, she loves them. But yeah, you gotta wait for her to see.
Yeah, my wife was teaching for a while, the fifth grade.
Oh, wow, yeah,
She didn't like it.
that's
That-
rough.
That's a rough,
Yeah, it is.
middle school stuff they start.
And plus they have to do the, was it the STAR test? Benchmarks. I was even there helping her grade. I'm like, I don't wanna go even with that. No, but I was more happy when she just cut out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she told, if she gets in the car and she says, hey babe, how was your day? Oh, okay, I'm good. If she says, what's for dinner? Then, yeah, okay, I did make dinner first off.
That means you're taking her out.
No, no.
Let's take out for that.
Yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah. You're gonna end up Peter Piper.
Yeah.
Farmer's market out there, nobody does anything.
No, been looking into trying to get something going. I've had a couple phone calls.
Was there one?
There used to be one, yeah.
Yeah, right, it's not that one, that one, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that one, when they first started, they would actually use the parking lot over there.
Oh, really?
Yes, it is. That was right after COVID, right?
Right before, I think, COVID, yeah. And then they started using that parking lot over
And it was doing great, I don't know what
where
happened.
Rise is. Yeah, it was real nice.
Something about the cheap, it wasn't cheap, I think it was the first one, we got it.
Are you serious?
It was Frank that came
Oh,
over
the
and said.
fireworks?
Roy Lopez.
And then because they didn't have this, they didn't have that. Food handlers, and it, they had to shut down.
It'd be nice to have something like that.
That would be nice, cause it would be really good. Because somebody was selling chila or something.
So I don't know if this is true or not, but I've been told that, you know, hatch chili everywhere you see everywhere, that most of it is not really from hatch. Yeah, but they don't grow enough chilies for all of that to
To be
be
on the market.
hatch chili, yeah.
Whataburger alone, I think will
Yeah.
wipe them out.
Yeah. There's not that many farms in down hatch, come on.
But the name sells.
Yeah.
Did you hear they opened up a 2-story Whataburger in Vegas?
Where?
And last
Story
year-
was-
That seems appropriate.
It has a bar too, no?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
There's a bar.
And then I saw some guy, five places you need to eat in Vegas, you know, I get those on.
Yeah.
And then he says, this new place called Whataburger.
No. Hasn't seen the 1965 or 1955 sign, has it?
That's crazy. What he said was, this place is giving In-N-Out a run for their money.
Stop.
I was like,
Really?
what?
I block people for saying yes. You know, every time I go out of town, I try to have In-N-Out, and it's
Yeah.
just to give them, you know, a shot, but
Yeah.
it just never beats Whataburger.
Good
No.
though.
Is it? I've never had it.
And I only bring it up because in that advertisement, they show hatch green chili.
Yeah,
Whataburger.
that's kind of why, it was funny, because my husband like lived in Whataburger, he loved it. And then he would say that, so you know, they should do something like, really capitalize that, like in Italy, like if you say it's from Tuscany, then there's like a little seal, but there's like people that actually,
You pay for that.
yeah, pay for that, and they come and they do it.
Vegas has it too.
So,
That'd be.
yeah, it'd be kind of interesting, yeah. It was like
Should
this.
try it.
I've been to Rio, I've been to.
You might come out a millionaire.
Yeah.
She hasn't had a baby.
This trip will be okay. Unless you go to Lowe's trip and, yeah. It's more like sightseeing. Just like, you know,
I
they call
took
it-
my kids. We were at Fremont at 11 p.m.
That's
I'll
kinda
never do it
scary.
again.
Well, it's
I'll never do it again, but I did, we took them.
But my nieces I have two nieces, they're cousins, but 10 days apart in age. And when they turned 21, my husband and I took them to Las Vegas. And then they wanted to go, they're like, what is this? We were just, you know, over by, they're like, but what is the old Las Vegas, whatever, so we took them, and then we were like, okay, let's get the
Yeah.
hell out of here.
It's like in The Lion King when he says we don't
Yeah,
look
yeah.
at those
We don't-
parts
yeah.
of Vegas.
Yeah.
We still got
The wastelands.
Yeah, the wastelands.
It's like, let's not go, my husband was all like, let's get the girls out of here.
No, I mean, it truly is for the adults. That's like,
It's like.
party area. You know what I mean? Where the strip is kind of, you know,
It's
you
been
can get
sanitized
some
now.
shows, you can, you know, it's, so, but yeah, it's,
It's pretty seedy down
yeah,
there.
you gotta be careful.
Shady.
Yeah, but,
But I did do the
oh, you did it? Oh, yeah.
they have the
Zip line.
zip line that goes across Fremont.
By the Ferris wheel, right?
I did that too, yeah, with the girls on their birthdays.
That's the downtown area that they're talking about, that, it's like old. It's nice.
You know what's pretty cool, if you if you go again with your kids or whatever, they have the museum of all the old neon signs. That's cool. It's been in a couple of movies, and one day my husband and I were like, we were tired of, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Let's go to that museum. It was cool.
Oh, okay.
And they're the old signs, you know, the slipper, like all the old Las Vegas. You
No,
know,
we
signs.
took them to Circus, amusement park and whatnot, so.
And they
But
have like
there's not a lot to
music,
do.
they have music that goes, it's like a cool show, like you walk through it and then it has music with a different, like Elvis, Sinatra music, it's cool, it's really cool. We liked it. That's like when you're tired of losing all your money and you're like, just go somewhere.
What else can we do?
What else can we do
That's
besides?
free.
It's like watching people lose their money, that's it.
Yeah, I don't, I'm not a gambler, so.
Yeah, me
Yeah, I'm not a.
The only one I could do good is on, was it, blackjack, that's it? No, but I'm good.
That's true,
I'm-
yeah.
So I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and I remember that one time we went, just me and my wife. I spent 2 hours at a slot machine, a penny slot machine. I played the same $10 for 2 hours.
That's when you, that's basically winning, right? Cause you didn't lose, yeah.
And because it was Star Wars, and I'm a huge Star Wars buff. I love Star Wars. So I was just waiting for the Death Star to turn and do its thing, you know, and that was it. You know, and I played the same $10. I'm not a big, yeah, so might as well, yeah. But yeah, it was pretty fun. Like just a couple hours of doing nothing.
A little bit of Las Vegas goes a long way, right?
As you get so angry, every time we walk into a different hotel, I said, I wonder if they have that Star Wars. You go, really? So we walked into one, they didn't have it, but they had a Rocky penny one. And that was, for me, that's just as good as Star Wars. Yeah, that's all. It was pretty fun. So you almost there?
Said 5 minutes out, 5 minutes ago.
He's walking.
Yeah.
Was 15 minutes ago, was 5
They
minutes
probably
ago.
give him a Tesla, not charged.
Like last time, right?
Yeah.
Look at my
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow,
Turn
really?
up the AC and that's it.
Not charged? They give them not charged. Wow.
We should just give you the share location.
Yeah, no good.
Bring me one too.
A couple, I guess,
I'll bring some Easter eggs.
How many are left? Do you still have?
There's a lot, I've
Is there really? Yeah.
They're probably empty, people already opened them.
Yeah, I'm opening.
No, they have.
yes.
That one seemed very light. Is there anything in that one? Yes.
Does anybody have prisoners?
No.
I get this back. Okay.
Mr. Lagergren, would you like an Easter egg
Oh, thanks.
with a candy inside?
Yeah, I'm coming back, yeah.
I am not. Miss Elizabeth? Yes. I don't know what's in it, but
Or this, what's a sour patch Kid?
there's a no calorie candy.
Right on, online, there's one candy you can have without any type of calories.
Really?
Really?
It does have sugar with it.
But not overly, not like the candy bar.
Not like this. Well, no.
This one's just like pure sugar.
Just my mouth.
I didn't. I just wanted to see what it was in it. Yeah. No, Starburst, I think. Oh, Jolly Rancher.
Oh, okay. You'll get Todd's at the time, you know.
Could pull out his travel.
We are set up tomorrow at 9, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
9 AM. Tell Todd it's El Paso time. See if that helps.
I just can't be here at 9 tomorrow. I have a prayer commitment tomorrow. That's right.
He's 5 minutes out.
5 minutes. As the crow flies. They don't use that anymore.
Nobody even knows, like the young people don't even know what that means.
Yeah, we're having a So we have to do that.
Oh.
I just, I put it in.
Just send it out. You just look at it.
Yeah, no, what I'm saying is the, what's the bill?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't turn it in, but I have it. I filled it out. I think we are.
Provide the information, like,
Yeah.
over 400 pages of
I
information.
know, me too. To try and prove everything.
There he is.
I was about to text him if you wanted to do it over the phone.
I apologize.
Wherever you want.
Sit by me.
I apologize. But unfortunately, I can't control the weather in Louisiana and East Texas.
Oh, did they have you delayed?
Over 3 hours, yes.
That doesn't fall under cleat? The weather
You know,
doesn't fall under cleat?
we're working on that, we're making some proposals, but as of this time,
It
it's
does
not
not.
been successful.
What thing you made it safe?
And while I've got, the leaders of this fine city, can y'all do something where the traffic lights recognize my DNA or something? And they will go from red to green?
Every time you come.
They've done the opposite.
I'm aware.
Oh, there comes Todd. Red
I'm
light.
aware.
Red
And
light.
keeping the protections.
It's all retinal scans. So we-
Mhm.
You had two of the same? I did have four, but there was a double, now we didn't, you had two of the hours or whatever. If you wanna send it to me, I can do it.
Should be off to me, right?
Mhm.
What do you want to do first? Do you wanna see our responses to the written, or do you want to see the new stuff?
Which will be shorter, the agreement to our
Yeah, I think so.
stuff.
I think those will be shorter, but I think I did that on this one. You have copies for them?
I do.
So what I did is I just took what you sent us, and I just wrote comments. I know which ones, let's see. Oh, here,
There's four sets there. It's a copy of what's this.
I thought you forgot about it. My feelings are already.
She never forgets.
So I guess like the easiest one is gonna be, I think, three, which is the leaf pool that you all asked for, so we agreed in concept with that, but the one concern that we had was, being the party that takes it all, so we wanted to be an affirmative action on the part of the officers to give it.
Yes, ma'am.
And then have like a certain time of the year, so we thought, so we're saying to you, yes, we agree in concept, but we would like for them, like during the month of October, for the association members to come to HR and just fill out and just say, yes, I consent to giving my 4 hours of accrued PTO to the pool for the following calendar year. And then the language that we have is voluntary, but once it's been made, it can't be revoked. We don't want them coming back and forth. It's like, it'll be a window of opportunity to come in and sign in, and then that's it. If you give it up that year, you're done until, you don't have to do it again, but not to be making all that work for our HR people to have it going in and out. And I think the rest of that is pretty much substantially what you all agreed to. And then, yeah, and we kind of tightened up the language a little bit to make it be the request, the payment from the approval of the, when they qualify for it, being with the chief, which you had said there, but I kind of just changed the language a little bit. And then in the section 2, where it talks about the elections, y'all had, so it just said before, up to 4 members of the association should be permitted time out without loss of pay at any time to conduct business. We just said it may request payment from the association leave pool to conduct the elections relating to the association. And if the association leave pool has been depleted, which shouldn't, but for whatever reason it has, then the board members can always utilize their own PTO. And then just for the, we had the association telling the chief in writing or verbal. I just think they should tell it in writing. It's like, send us and that can be an email or whatever, saying what it is, who the association board will be for the next calendar year. And anytime there's a change, tell the chief who that is.
Okay, I don't think we're gonna have any real heartaches with
Yeah, we can take that.
section 2 and 3. But if we're worried about putting too much work on city staff, and you're making every officer come back in and re-elect to donate time to the union every October. And the only other time they would ever go back to the city is if they decided they wanted to opt out of it.
We could do that. So that do it, that like they'll do it the first time and then it renews
Yes.
in October, but only in October they can come back. Yeah, we
yeah.
can do that.
I mean, that just makes it cleaner and it makes it easier on y'all. And it makes it easier on us.
Yep.
Because human beings have a tendency, even though y'all are a pretty small and connected group
Yeah.
here, they just don't wanna do it.
Yeah.
Or they forget,
Well, so
or,
that
yeah.
it'll be the first time. They have to
Yes.
come in and do it the first time and
Yes.
then they just opt out if they want.
Yes. Yes.
It'll renew unless they
They-
opt out. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I bet we can do that. Actually, you're right, that even makes less work for our.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So see, I'm on your side.
yeah,
too.
we have a meeting of the minds on that one. It's mutually beneficial.
And, we'll have to have a caucus where we
Yeah,
talk
you
on
take
the
all
other
of it,
ones,
cause we just gave
but,
them to you.
yeah.
We're just giving it to you, so I can look at it more closely. Let's do, the other one that's easy is, because we do agree, is on, 19 wages and compensation.
Mhm.
When they're working, in the city of El Paso, they called it working out of class,
Mhm.
right? So, and that, the chief, the team does agree that they should be compensated for that, we accept the definition. And then the only thing was that chief was asking for if they do it for more than 60 days in any calendar year, they get compensated at the higher level.
Cause it's come from El Paso County where they had that, which we changed in this contract. Because, if you're making the thing, they have to work more than 60 days in a calendar year. But if they only work 59, they don't get it. But those 59, days that they were doing it, they now have the burden of being the supervisor. And they're not being compensated for it. Because, they're responsible if they're working outside their pay grade or outside of their rank for other employees. And they're supervising them, they're approving reports, they're investigating things on the employees. So, they're taking on added responsibilities for 59 days, but they're getting no extra compensation for it. That's the issue that it causes. And, like you were talking about, El Paso County, or El Paso, followed civil service, where it's anytime you're working on a classification, you get it. And, we'll need to caucus on that.
Okay.
And I'm sure y'all will too.
Yeah. And that, okay, so that one, have a look at it.
Yeah.
There's some language change there. The other one, we just did not agree to.
Okay. Article, 19.
So it's the phone contact one.
Yes.
And I'll let the chief kind of explain to you what his thoughts are on that.
So yeah, I mean, I don't think this happens often enough, but obviously if it's a phone call to an individual, it's going to be somewhat of an emergency. So that would fall under that. And if everything's kind of done the way it's supposed to be done, then I don't think it's a need for us to try it.
Okay.
So we don't look to intentionally contact the officers, it's only in cases of a dire emergency need for that information.
Not saying I agree with losing, but we're taking it under advisement.
Yeah,
and we'll caucus.
Right. And then on section 10, with the addition for the crisis intermediate team and, ComStar, that, yes, we agree, we agreed to add those.
And thank you all for that. See,
That's recognizing the additional training and the value to the city. okay, so this one's gonna be one we know we're gonna.
There's a lot of red.
Yeah, well, because we started with in fact, when we give you what the chief asked me to, at the very beginning, he actually started with that premise, that it's a privilege and not a right. And so,
Well recognized.
yeah, and so that's kind of going back to that, so, you know, we have that original statement there, the off-duty employment is a privilege for the officers in good standing with the department and at locations that are deemed to be, by the chief to be appropriate for an officer to be employed, so it gives him a lot of discretion with regard to that. I think, I actually, after hearing you all, I think y'all are in pretty much in agreement with the rest of all of this, and some of this is like language that I thought was just kind of cleaning up language. But I think the crux of the disagreement is going to be with regard to, when they have been disciplined, and then that's taken, that privilege is taken away. But what we want you all to understand, the chief is, here's kind of the reasoning for that. It's like, well, okay, so we have an officer who has been disciplined, some poor performance, some issue, and now this person is out in the community unsupervised and really a representative of the department, whether or not they're doing city work. That's an issue for us. So what the chief wants to make sure everybody understands, and I think everybody should, is that even if they are not working their side gig, they can work grants to make up the difference. Because when they work grants, they're under supervision of other professional law enforcement people here. So that's kind of, he wants to keep the same scheme that we have, or not scheme, but program. I use that word scheme all the time, and I was like, not me, and I realize it has a negative connotation, but no, it is intended to be punitive. I mean, it is. It's like you're being disciplined, and so you don't get to just go work somewhere else and maybe make more money somewhere else, and when you've been disciplined. So, and not to speak for the chief, but it does have some merit. It's like, well, you think twice about whatever it is that is the problem. But with that assurance that recognizing that people are doing it to supplement their income, you got grant works that we can offer in that.
All right, we'll use that in our caucus also.
Yeah, and then I know I'm missing one, but I can't remember which one it was. There's a fourth one. And I thought when I sent email to.
There is another one, and I will find it here.
Yeah, I'll find it too, because I know I meant to send it to her. She's telling me that I sent her two of the same. So I will find that other one, but I don't recall what it was.
When they go caucus, if you'll show me which one it is or send it to me.
Yeah, I will. Then we can bring it for the next time. But okay, so those are ours, and now we've got our proposals for you all. Most of them you heard already, and as I was talking to the mayor, we've spoken about them, but until you see it in writing, it's different. So, did you have these for them?
This is the chief's, right?
Yeah, the chief's proposals. There's an extra, you can have it, there's another one. You can have this one, right on this one. No.
You have one, right?
Yeah. Yeah, she has one.
Okay.
Okay, so we can kind of just work, and how they did it is they just put this article, and then the language as it is now, and then here's the change we want you to consider. And we talked about the very first one, but we didn't talk about it in depth, because we've got a statement in there that says written reprimands are removed from a personnel file after 2 years. It's causing an issue with regard to progressive discipline. So we would like to delete that, to say that it will come, because we need to keep the record of written reprimands. So there's one. And then the next one is what we just talked about,
Yeah.
the off-duty. See, that's always been there from the beginning, so. And the promotions, the management wants to add the commander position as a selected position, serving at the pleasure of the chief. Issue with that. And the next one is the same, we still have that same language about removing written reprimands after 2 years, and I think that needs to be gone. And this one is, one that we put in last time, and now we've lived with it a little while, and the management is of the opinion that you don't really do a lot of canine work anyway, so maybe deleting that provision. And then, okay, the specialized task pay, we had it where it flowed fiscal year to fiscal year, but we were considering having the chief have some discretion based upon personnel transfers for the needs of the department, just to add that in there. So it's not just fixed for a whole year. Okay, and I'm gonna let the chief kind of talk about these, because these are the 40-hour work week and all of those changes that we, like, they're asking for this, so.
So the hours of work, we just wanna consider, setting a max cap on the number of, extra hours or overtime hours that an officer can work, and that would be, we have it now at 16 a day, and it's 65 hours in a week. That's including your on-duty time plus your any part-times or overtime. So that's for that first article, for the first section. For section 2, for the purposes of considering transitioning to 12-hour shifts, we would like to change the regular hour wage for hours worked from to 84 hours in a bi-weekly basis. And it would allow us to implement the 40-hour a week, the 12-hour shifts schedule the way we want it, or the way we would like to have it, which is pretty much what SO does, is every other weekend off for the officers. Those are the two for the hours of work, and then the overtime, and then the miscellaneous. On the miscellaneous, again, we just want to add the commander spot under the FLSA exempt, yes.
And the assistant chief.
And the assistant chief, assistant chief and commander, since they will be both appointed positions.
Now, I have a question, because of the recent federal decision to change FSLA, at least on the private sector, and I don't believe that first off, it's gonna be challenged in court, because multi-billion corporations can spend the money to fight it, and it'll drag on forever. But we can't supersede federal law on a contract, so, I
But
don't.
it still hasn't.
I
with
know,
regard
and
to
that's what I
LEOs, it's
said,
not, yeah.
but it's.
We can put a caveat in there, obviously, if it changes, I mean, we
Well,
comply with.
I don't know
law.
that we would need to, but,
Right.
cause, I mean, you gotta follow federal law, they
Right.
pretty much frown if you
And
don't.
these wages probably wouldn't fall under that.
I don't think it would as it's currently proposed, or the current stuff, but once it started getting challenged, there's no telling what a court's gonna finally rule, and it ends up being fact.
Mhm.
I don't think, unless we're doing a 30-year contract,
Well, yeah.
it'll ever be an
No.
issue, but I just wanted to address it.
Well, and actually, you know what, we kinda wanted to talk about that a little bit too, about and we can, you know, put that on to the side a little bit, but pending completing the contract, but we would like you all to think about maybe if we get a good contract that we all agree to, maybe going out 5 years instead of just 3.
I would, you know, we'll have to caucus, but if we do that, if we can have the last 2 years, the ability to reopen just on
Wages.
financials,
Yeah,
if both sides agree.
okay.
Cause that actually works for y'all and for us,
Mhm.
because the way y'all are growing, in 5 years, this block will be bigger than El Paso.
Wow.
All you needs a baseball stadium right downtown.
Working
But-
on it, working on it.
Alright, then, paid time off,
Yeah, that's, we talked about that, from
Yeah.
1,200 down to 1,000, so that's there now in writing.
Hmm.
And then, so the bereavement, this looks like it's maybe just a duplication, it's already somewhere else, but we'll both look at that, we'll
Okay.
look carefully and see. And then this last one looks like, it's a lot of text, but what it is, and this is likely going to, well, it's the intention of the city management to have this citywide, so not just uniform employees. So what they do right now is at the beginning of the fiscal year, they fill everybody's leave bank. And so if somebody decides to quit the next day, then they've got all this leave that they have to pay. So they're coming up with a plan to just have it accrue, over time, so. And like I said, that's going to be presented also for the other employees as well. It just kinda helps out with the, when people do that, just wait. That's kind of, yeah. And those are our asks, so that's easy. Now, we don't have, we still have people punching
I
numbers.
understand that, and I
Yeah.
appreciate, but I appreciate y'all's attention and your goals and your issues. But we're gonna need some time to
Of
caucus
course.
and discuss them, and that's why we're here 2 days in a row.
Absolutely.
And then, I don't think for this current stuff, it's gonna take us a long time to caucus on it, cause
Okay.
it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
But we will get we'll get a hold of y'all, just a little bit hopefully, and y'all can go. Evidently I missed the party. 'Cause
We had Easter eggs. Easter eggs.
I mean, I'm a little hurt.
There's still Easter eggs. There's still
Cause I'm
some.
thinking before I got here, y'all probably had clowns and balloons and everything, and I missed that, and that's on God, because He created the weather, and I'm not gonna get mad at God, but, I'm hurt.
We had
We'll
an
make it up to you.
We had an Easter egg hunt for the public, but the public told us that they're cutting back.
They're on a diet.
So.
Yes, yeah.
They're cutting
Yeah,
back, so
yeah.
we decided to go
Yeah.
ahead.
Well, we'll eat the candy.
Yeah, everybody's going on the keto stuff.
There you go.
And trying to cut out the
Summer's coming.
carbs.
There you go.
But, if we,
You wanna we'll just separate, we
Yeah.
give y'all, and what do you say, like at top of the hour, or would you need that?
how about, you and I'll touch base at a 1:45,
Okay.
and we'll see where we're at, and if it's more in depth than I believe it's going to be, then.
Yeah, and I'll find the last one.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't even remember what it was.
And when you find that, just
We'll
come
just bring
bang
it,
on
we'll
the
just,
door.
we'll just give it to y'all.
All right, thank you guys.
I'll just, not in a hurry, send you copies and you just send on.
Somebody else again.
See, brought you one. Oh, I appreciate it, sir, but yeah, it's the sugar. I appreciate it though.
Look, there's some more here.
Yeah. No, if I was younger and fitter, I'd grab one.